studying Islamic law for nearly 4 years overseas, I came back. I was now back home, had to make a living for myself. Islamic law, back home, let's become a lawyer. Long story short, I never attended law school because I just couldn't finance that endeavor as a very expensive project. Although I took the LSAT and the personal statements and recommendation letter, and the idea of taking student loans was just unthinkable to me. I mean, haram student loans? No, I can't do that. So I asked people for personal loans. That didn't work. That was the end of that. Fast forward nearly 10 years, I find myself on a rooftop in Manhattan in New York City. A friend comes up to me and says, hey, I want to talk to you. You're an entrepreneur and investor and someone who studies Sharia. I want to introduce you to someone. I said, sure. He said, the guy came over to me and I said, so what's the big idea? I think if we look at haram student loans from the angle of X, Y, and Z, I think we can solve it. I was floored by the approach. The Sharia student in me was like, man, I know how it is to have my dreams dashed of being a lawyer. And the entrepreneur in me was like, the bigger the problem, the bigger the opportunity. So then, we started talking, and I realized that when we started to talk, he said, the X factor became the involvement of America's leading legal expert in education finance, wanting to be involved in this and help us solve this. I was in. I think I was approached because of my connection and ability to connect with American Muslim scholars who I've studied with or studied underneath. Within a couple of weeks, I was actually talking directly to arguably America's top Islamic finance scholar. After some discussion, he adopted our approach. He then presented it to a global panel of Islamic finance scholars, and woo, was it shot down quickly. It was too edgy, it was too forward, but that's all right. As an entrepreneur, you have plan B, and if you don't, you better create one. And your plan C, D, E, F, but it's all right, just as long as you pivot with beauty. Student loans in general are a major problem for all university students. I mean, if you read the daily periodicals, they talk about student loans being the next bubble that's going to burst. College students find themselves at a fork in the road, whether they're going to just work or if they're going to take student loan debts, right? And they think to themselves, why? Because I'm going to net the same amount of income, so why incur all this student loan debt? All right? Nationwide, students are at the mercy of these major lending institutions. If you think about that, even so for Muslims and these institutions and their rising interest rates, so more so a problem for the Muslim student who doesn't want to engage in what a majority of scholars would say is a huge sin. If you look at the average typical American Muslim college student at a very good university, and alhamdulillah, we're represented well at top-tier institutions, this may be his or her first direct experience with riba and interest. And oh, what a predatorial system it is. When a system can lend money to an arts major in the same way that it can lend money to a biochem major, and we all know that those two incomes are not going to be the same, this is a recipe for disaster. And us trying to solve this as a community has been very difficult and very challenging. The reason why, one factor is you have halal, Sharia compliant, and you have economic viability, right? You have the market. So you have a product that's halal, Sharia compliant, you go to market, but the market doesn't respond. Your prices are too high, you're not competitive. So you modify, and then you go back to the scholars, and you speak to them, and they say, well, what you're doing is haram. So it's this constant refinement that we're going through with halal student loans, this push and pull that's occurring. But I think that with halal student loans, I think Islamic finance in general, if we can do it, we'll be presenting Muslims with the opportunity to sidestep, if not partially sidestep, the usurious system. And when you look at the books of fiqh, right, only a fraction of the books of fiqh deal with personal obligations. A majority of the books of fiqh deal with mu'amalat, which is engagements and interactions between human beings, you and humanity. Inheritance, child rearing, divorce, you and humanity. It's you and humanity. So there is this ethos that's created by Sharia. And in regards to Islamic finance, there's this business ethics that's actually produced. And if you think about it, it could be our gift to modern day society. What a beautiful idea that is. Presently, there are no real solutions to the haram student loans issue. Right? There are nonprofits that are trying to address it But nonprofits are not going to meet the demand. Case in point, if we all were here to raise money, how much money do you think we could raise right now? Let's just say we raised 100,000. How many students could we take care of with 100,000? It's not scalable. The idea of placing this burden, this problem of this magnitude on the shoulders of philanthropists, donors, and the goodwill of individuals is unsustainable. It's just not going to work. So we're going to have to look at the issue of haram student loans, dissect it and look at it from a multitude of angles. The models, the structures, the forms that we come up with may be some things we've never seen or done before. And they'll evolve and they'll improve. I'm sure of it, inshallah. We just have to have patience, we have to have foresight, and we have to have the ability to talk and engage with America's top Islamic finance scholars. And alhamdulillah, we were able to enlist them onto our project. And I think we were able to enlist them onto our project with relative ease because they understand the gravity of this issue. Like one scholar said to me, Mohammed, there have been many attempted solutions before you, but I think you guys got it, inshallah. So I stand before all of you. I ask you all to make dua for us as we try to solve this serious issue. If you want to know more about these details, you can find me on my website, mgeraldez.com. You can find me online. I ask God to bless you all, grant you the best of this world and the next, and to always stay sincere. Assalamu alaikum.